Ahoy there, Alert Mission Legion! I'm your host, Psycho Cinematics, and let's get right into the news! First story of the day. Actually, the only story of the day. Some really messed up stuff. If the reports are to be believed, Canadian-based game developer Digital Extremes is threatening to sue a 17-year-old fan of the game for providing information to the game's dedicated community that Digital Extremes doesn't want them to know about. Earlier this week, a Reddit user Dippy93 noticed that the 17-year-old fan's information repository had suddenly been removed. Immediately, the comment section exploded with worry of censorship by Digital Extremes. FTC Public said to the agreement of hundreds of upvotes and even Reddit Gold, quote, "You can tell there's a transparency problem when a community relies so heavily on data mines just to understand the game they play. If the data void glitch uncovered was actually available in the game proper, like it should be, we'd never have need for his work in the first place. We shouldn't have to rely on a data mine to understand how a weapon works. We shouldn't have to rely on a data mine to understand how a mechanic works. We shouldn't have to rely on a data mine to understand how an item is acquired. We shouldn't have to rely on a data mine to play a game." This is an upsetting move from DE, considering how lax they've gone towards him in the past. I'm hoping this is just DE's legal team overstepping their bounds, but it doesn't exactly send a good message. We won't fix our but we won't let you fix it either. Edit. With this and Melee Ribbons on the horizon, I think it's time for either a break or boycott. Edit 2. Also, thank you for the gold. If only I could pay off DE's lawyers with this. Oh, shade thrown. Warblewind said, going the lawyer route to shut down pro-consumer resources before giving your community the transparency they expect is how you leave a bad taste in everyone's mouth and alienate customers. This needs to be reversed first, then addressed to our satisfaction. Being so close to OpenIV fiasco will not work out well for DE if they don't act fast. And to only open a channel of communication after lawyering up and being called out and not before? Unreal. Warbles, of course, referring to a recent backlash Grand Theft Auto 5 has inflicted on themselves by outlawing mods in their game. This led to huge strikes of their popularity on Steam satisfaction ratings, and only after the stocks plummeted did they reach a speedy compromise. The comments continue to put Digital Extreme on blast for this shady business move. Chaos Mandarin said this, "People, this is bad news. We want to see the DE pulls and we need Void's work for that." Blissful Altruism followed that up with, "Agreed. I started seeing it when DE was purging certain files from being read client-side like caches and SAB missions, but to fully remove all info in an RNG game where DE is known for pulling like a 0.17% drop chance rates, I don't like this at all. I'm not saying they will suddenly become corrupt, but transparency is honesty and data mine is complete transparency." The Forma fanatic and recently award-receiving fan himself, Forma Addict, stepped up to say, even ignoring bullshit drop rates and intentionally shitty RNG. Remember Kubro eggs when Chessa was released? There was a f***up where found eggs could not give Chessa Kubros. Only bought eggs had Chessa as a possible outcome. Data miners found the mistake. If there had been no data mining, Chessa Kubros would still be exclusive to Platinum or trading, which basically means Platinum. Having content locked behind a paywall, that's serious. But in comes TGDM, host of 10 O'Clock News, dropping the mic with this informational haymaker. See also, are Queen parts being completely removed from missions? Quick edit to clarify for newer players, before they were moved to Syndicate, some parts were just straight up removed and missing for months. New Prime updates missing entirely from reward tables or abysmal drop rates. Patch notes claiming a reward is available at X and it turns out it's on Y instead. Stats on any and all exalted weapon types. Confirmation on enemy stats for scaling calculations. Confirmation on alt fire or secondary damage factors for various weapons and attacks, and any other case that falls under the omission/oversight umbrella. All those comments and more were so supported by the fans of the game, each ended up receiving Reddit Gold. And these are just a small sampling of the pages of comments this one post had received, and there are many more like it. But like with Grand Theft Auto's mistake with OpenIV, AGGP, community manager DE Rebecca swooped in with some damage control. For almost 3 years, we turned a blind eye, knowing that parts of the community found value in these themes. Then our unreleased quest scripts got data mined, which we spoke on this subreddit. We encouraged people not to read it and continued working on what we hoped would remain a surprise. Then Umbra screenshots and primed streamline screenshots appeared. Then we investigated how those themes came to be. Then our blind eye was forced to act when our game was being directly affected in extremely dangerous ways. Right now I'm trying to figure out a way to have the transparency people valued still exist somewhere. Maybe the Wikia, still figuring it out, so you can see this isn't an attempt to enter an era of 0.0000001 mods. With the relics, we added rarity colors to prime parts as well as a fleshed out codex, so we're making progress, however slowly. Side note on that relic rarity, that was only added after repeated requests for people to do that on Reddit. So you're missing a little detail there, but moving on. Most of us farm the same RNG with you, so we always have people with perspective when it comes to being fair free to play. I understand if jaded industry views lead you to assume the worst, but the above is the truth, and our evidence forced us to act. Apologies for any undue stress caused. That appears to be some awkward wording of things that could come across to some like buzzword doublespeak to try and douse the flames and throw the blames in any direction, hoping the outcries will just stop. It seems fans of the game on Reddit sense this very thing, and even though she's by far the most loved member of the Digital Extremes crew, this comment of hers did not receive Reddit Gold. So there's the word from the company. What about the accused? The troubled fan in question, the well-intentioned young man at the center of this blistering controversy, responded to her directly. Quote, Rebecca, is there any way that we could come to a compromise on which information is allowed to be published on GitHub and which information is not? You must understand that the only reason I ever uploaded these files in the first place was because Warframe, the game itself, failed to outline or explain such information. Maybe uploading languages.bin is a bit excessive, but there is a mass desire for drop tables and mission decks, as I am told. Under your legal constraint, I cannot actually upload without fear of a lawsuit, but I only do this to help the community, not to damage your game or slander your company. It was not even me who used Excalibur Umbra and primed Streamline. Digital Extremes assumed it was related to me and punished me for it. It was an indirect offense. Please consider having a discussion, whether that might be through email or Reddit PMs, with me on what is appropriate, because the community seems to be really disappointed with the manners of how Digital Extremes is handling my situation right now, as I am not a malicious force. While under the gun, the kids still openly and willingly aim to aid Digital Extremes during this inflammatory time. Then, like the proverbial olive branch, Rebecca replied back moments later, I have sent you a PM via Reddit. And just like that, the day was saved. Everything went back to normal and not a word of During an interview with Squid the Sid, it was revealed that the private message in question was nothing more than an instruction to speak to their lawyers. What the hell, Digital Extremes? Is that how you handle things in Canada? Throw minors to lawyers? The interview went on to clarify the young fan in question had no direct ties to either of the two main incidents Digital Extremes is blaming him for. Squid, the issues that triggered legal action were Umbra and Prime Streamline. Can you tell us more about the situations and how you were involved? Void, I cannot explain how they were done, as I do not have my head wrapped around the entire process myself, but I will say that I did not condone nor influence anyone to commit exploits that would impact the public Warframe servers. I, myself, did not perform these exploits. But what happened? People managed to access this content early and abuse the game. Rebecca said it was screenshots, but was it more than that? Well, the reason they've targeted individuals was because of the screenshots. Of course, more had to have happened to even have Excalibur Umbra and Prime Streamline in-game. It was not a glitch. Right, so what happened was some individuals got access to this locked content illegitimately, screenshots were taken, and because you had data mined this information, you were sent a legal letter despite not being involved, not sharing your techniques, and not condoning the actions. Am I correct? Void replies, yes. By this point, content creators in the Warframe community started to cover the subject, namely QuietteShy and Brozime. Zime? I'm getting conflicting reports it might be Zime, but it looks like Lime, so I'm going with Zyme. But not was all sunshine and gumdrops in Twitterland, as it was about to have a storm of epic proportions. One asked why he wasn't talking about the single biggest scoop Warframe has had in recent years. The original subscriber giant, who stopped officially covering the game a year ago, said this: "The Warframe community bumbling around on the topic of data mining. Just move on to the next controversy. Truth be told, I make less Warframe content because it's just one big angry circle jerk where you either agree with the mob or GTFO. And as you can clearly see, he's so upset with the Warframe community, he hasn't made a video for the game in quite some time. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. Man, when does it end? I'm not going to tell angry people what they want to hear for views and likes. I am my own person, and I am tired of the Warframe mob mentality." This line of tweets got the ear of Ms. Shy, who fired back a warning shot. Oh boy, hope it wasn't a jab at me, cause I'm my own f***ing person as well, saying what I think as well, and I think Void should go f***ing free. Meow! Quite the firecracker, that one. He quickly took a step back from that fiery minx, saying, "It has nothing to do with you. I'm talking about people asking me to make a video agreeing or my channel is irrelevant. F*** them." And here I thought that already happened when he only came back to Warframe for the views, but then Shy said out of the blue, "Thanks, Rob. My whole Twitter timeline is f***." Whoa, what's going on there? It seems the always right ever defender of all things digital extremes has ever done in stereotypical cliche Californian personified Warframe content creator AGGP has a little bone to pick with fellow creators Brozime, MG Blaze, and any fans of the game that do not completely agree with him. Blaze posts a link to the interview on Reddit, and immediately AGGP starts strawmanning and argument spinning. Lol! This is the one where he admits to data mining Umbra and Prime Streamline. Read closely, kids. Brozime, you do realize that that doesn't have anything to do with the people who force added that stuff to accounts in-game, right? It's not magic. Rob, except for the fact that he data mined the info that led to the force ads. You rip the weed at the root, not the tip. Better take him on his word on that one, Mr. Zyme. Based on his content alone, he's got the highest mastery rank of all of us in how to handle a root and tip. Bro, so just because someone tells you about an unreleased shirt you can't have, if you steal it, it's their fault, not yours? Rob, if that unreleased shirt is found within hidden their house and you give them the blueprints to go get it, it definitely is. What the f*** is he even saying? Bro, even if he directly knows who did the Umbra primed streamline stuff, that's not saying he did. Knowing a bank robber doesn't make you one. Rob, driving them to the bank does make you an accomplice though. Blaze with an oddly arousing icon. You seriously think that reading some client-side file contents is like acting as a getaway driver to a f***ing bank robbery? Rob, no, it's like driving them to the bank. So let's make it official. Uber and Lyft are now accessories to all crimes ever created since they've come to exist. Skipping ahead on this cringe fest, Rob continues. Lol, we'll see what happens when the lawyers get to it. You seem to be an expert in things you have no professional training in. And Mr. Zyme chimes in again, dropping the bomb. Yeah, go ahead and post that degree in law you have just sitting around. Boom! Deco chimes in asking how embarrassing it must be to be steamrolled, to which AGGP replies, "Lol, Deco, I'm still standing here, and no one's been able to take me down. Sad their collective IQs haven't managed to out-argue." Amazing how you can edit any build videos at all through all that narcissism. This back and forth continued for a long time, and AGGP had no problem trying to start it up again in the morning. As far as this current event goes with Digital Extremes and the kid they are threatening to sue, it is still ongoing, and any mention of it anywhere is polarizing. This whole thing has gotten crazy, and some folks have even suggested to wear Free Void t-shirts under their jackets to reveal at TennoCon, and even ask Digital Extremes directly about this during the question and answer portion of the event just weeks away. You'd think they'd want to avoid bad publicity so close to their fan appreciation event, but hey, black market riots broke out for Payday 2 in an eerily similar fashion. So maybe the video game world's history is just repeating itself. And that's just the beginning. You have both official comments, fan comments, content creator comments and summaries, TLDRs. It doesn't appear to be stopping anytime soon. But this video is, because it's going on for quite some time. So if you like it, leave a comment below, smack the like button, share it with your friends if they want to be caught up on the loop. There's a ton more to the story. As for now, thank you for watching, and until next time, Alert Mission Legion, 32,400 subscribers. Intimidating a kid? A kid? What the fuck?